What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Crypto Income Daily. Today, in this video, we're going to share with you the complete breakdown, the presentation of Loom-X arbitrage system. Hey guys, I believe in multiple streams of income, and I always go with the principle that don't put all your eggs in one basket. If you have been following my channel, you will realize that I have been doing other projects quite sustainable with low risk. One of them, which is Smash Mavbot, we are still rocking it every single day. So Loom-X is another powerful project that I think every crypto lover needs to check out with. Okay. Before we dive in, I am never your financial advisor. My videos are for education and information purposes only. So in this presentation, our top leaders break down Loom-X opportunity, how you can leverage the AI with blockchain technology and generate passive income every day with automatic payouts to your wallet, no withdrawals button. So having said so, let's dive into the presentation right now.
Is Loomx and what is it all about? This amazing opportunity is actually built around two massive products, two strong products. Product number one is what you see on your screen, what we call the Lightning Network Crypto Exchange or a crypto mixer. What is a crypto mixer? Or this is a product that allows you to do cross-chain transactions. For those of you who don't really know what chains are, in blockchain, we have different brands or different types of chains all in that same space. For instance, if you liken it to, let's say, those of you listening in Ghana, for instance, you know what we call the mobile money. Now we have what we call the MTN mobile money, and this mobile money operates only on the MTN chain. Now you have other networks or other providers such as Telecel or Vodafone or Vodacom or any other network, and in most situations you are unable to send from your from your MTN. So we have various different blockchains solving one aspect of the whole puzzle. And then these guys have their own native tokens that actually run on their network. So in most cases, for instance, if nothing at all, you know about the BTC network, you know about the BSC or the Binance Smart Chain network, you know about Ethereum, you know about all other chains. Now, one crazy hurdle has always been, I have USDT. This same USDT is the same USDT. Maybe I have USDT on Smart Chain or what we call the BEP20 or the Binance Smart Chain network. And it is the same USDT. One USDT is equal to $1. And somebody says, oh, I need you to send, or I need to send you $1 from my USDT. But for the fact that maybe this user is expecting to receive his on another chain, which is, let's say, Ethereum chain, I cannot just transfer from my Binance network to him. In any case, I have to swap or sell to an Ethereum-based token before I can send to this guy, creating extra costs and extra, procedure to go through to finally get these funds back to him. But then Loomx came up with this unique exchange that allows you to easily transfer funds from one chain to another without breaking a sweat. How do I mean? I have my USDT in BEP20. You want to receive USDT, but you don't want to use the BEP20 chain. You want to use maybe the Ethereum chain. It's just a matter of me saying, listen, Loomx, I have this on this chain. I want to send it to this guy on that chain. Take it, handle all the technicalities, and make sure he receives the money. This mixing engine makes it even more easier for you to do this transaction. Now, aside that, it also finds way to hide the traces of this transaction. And mostly in the crypto space, in fact, in the early stages, a lot of people accuse these crypto mixing services of fueling illegal activities. How do they mean? If, let's say, I have BTC or I have some amount of crypto I want to move, but I don't want authorities' eyes on me. I don't want nobody tracking or chasing me, knowing what I have in my wallet and all. At least everybody deserves some kind of privacy to some extent. Then these kind of mixers come in handy because it allows you to do all these transactions, and then at the end of the day, using the zero knowledge technology to block traces of this particular transaction. How do I mean? Assuming I'm trying not to be too technical, I just want to break this phase down and go into details. And trust me, in the next 30 minutes, I'll be done. Assuming I am to do what we call know your customer or KYC with Loomx, let's say it is a requirement, and I don't want Loomx CEO to actually know my real details. But then I want a block between me and the CEO. I really want to do this stuff, but I don't want my data leaking to this CEO for the obvious reason. Then there is a structure, there is a system that will take requirements from the CEO. Okay, if he says he's a Ghanaian, then he needs the Ghana card. He needs this, he needs passport, he needs to do facial. And his facials must match whatever is contained in this biometric card. And then when you satisfy that the guy actually meets all, just tell me, yes, the guy meets the condition, or no, he doesn't meet it. That is how the zero knowledge technology works. So in that case, I'm so confident to give out my details with this technology. The technology will scan me to prove that genuinely the guy is a Ghanaian, his name is Jerry, he's so and so years old, he lives in Accra, he loves crypto. And when all these things are confirmed, then it gives signal to Loomx and say the guy has been cleared and verified without necessarily sending out my details. So they use this kind of technology to block some of the transaction traces to pave that trace for you. And trust me, it is only the big boys, the big movers who enjoy using this kind of technology. And guess what? This is not the first type of crypto mixing services. There are several of them. Tornado Cash and all those guys, they are all doing same. But here is the difference. Most of these guys, because of how complex this technology is, will charge you at least for up to 5%. Some will even charge you up to 10% for using their platform. So in any case, if you want to do a transaction of, let's say, $1 million, they charge you about 5% of that, and that makes them a lot of money. Now, when you bring that same transaction on Loomx, Loomx has even found a way to break it down and reduce the cost, making it super cheap by charging you 0.5%. Now, don't get me wrong. It may sound like 0.5% in your ears, but that's actually nothing. How can you raise enough funds from a 0.5% transaction fee to feed the whole community, right? Not until you start punching 0.5% of $10 million or $5 million, it becomes very handy in terms of revenue generation. This aspect of their product is already live. In fact, as I speak to you now, you can actually go in there and start doing transactions on your own. It is not that they would do, they have already done. And that is one of their sources of raising revenue, charging 0.5 of all the transactions being done on their platform, and then using it to support the community in terms of their ecosystem. Their second product happens to be their arbitrage bot. And when the first day this arbitrage bot was introduced, I said, yeah, there we go again. The same arbitrage story. And when we say arbitrage, there are several different types of arbitrage. Mastering one alone is good enough for you to take advantage of price differentials in the crypto space. Assuming you are new, you don't understand what arbitrage is. It's very simple. We have different crypto exchanges. As we speak now, if you should open Binance.com and also open maybe OKX and look at the prices of these major cryptos, for instance, BTC or Ethereum, and then compare it to Binance, you always find out that within some seconds or some minutes, there's always price differentials. Assuming BTC is being quoted on Binance as we speak now at 60,000. Then you check on OKX, and then is being sold out at maybe 60,300. Now, that small margin of price differentials presents a unique opportunity for an arbitrage seeker to take advantage of. But what are some of these challenges in handling this manually? Time constraint, buying from Binance and then moving it to OKS to go and sell. By the time you transfer and all that, that opportunity may be gone. And one of the easiest way to capture some of this profit is by using automated system, or what we call scripts or bots, to take advantage in milliseconds when it pop up. Buy here, sell here, buy here, sell here, locking in those profits for you on daily basis. And as I am saying this, I am not saying it from paper. Actually, all these things are recorded on chain for you and I to go in there and verify. Let me show you a typical example. Now, on your screens now, what you see is the bot initializing a trade, trying to take advantage of certain trades. Each minute, as we speak now, is scanning, taking advantages, locking in profit. I'm going to pause one of these transactions. Let's look at them in detail. So let's take these transactions, for instance. If you look carefully, you see the date and the time as we speak, all recorded on this. And trust me, these are not just being typed on the website. It has data, it has the fact available for you to verify if indeed there was something like that. So if you look at this, there are two different transactions contained in what you see on your screen. The first one is to buy, there's a coin called TRA, TRIA. So they use USDT to buy TRA at $60.52, right? And then quickly they bought this particular one from the exchange called Liftinity. That is the name of the exchange. And then they quickly sold it on Meteora, the same thing we bought here cheaper at $60, $60.5, was sold on this Meteora at $65.16. $65.16. So if you look at the profit gained in this particular transaction, in terms of gross profit, it's about $14.6 on that particular transaction. Now, this is what it means. What it means is that if you look above your screen, you see we have the AI pool, the funds contained in that pool, about $55 million sitting there. And it is highlighted that you can click on. Of course, I'll take you in there. I'm restricting myself. I'm being tempted to do pure technicals, but I want to make sure you understand the concepts tonight. Maybe the subsequent meetings will go deeper into this so I can prove so many things to you. But then you see that the pool has at least $55 million sitting right there. And then it took $60 out of that to execute a trade. So you realize that if I allow this to play, okay, before I even allow it to play, the gross profit generated from this particular trade is 14.16. And then there was a fee incurred, of course, network fee about 0.006. Why? Because they are using the Binance, the BSC chain, and you know how cheap it can be. And then at the end of the day, when you deduct this fee, what remained is what we call a profit of $12.8 on that particular transaction. Now, it doesn't mean that the bot has just made you $12 on your account alone. What it means is that it just secured this trade out of the $55 million sitting there. It only risked what? $60. Did I even say risk? I don't see risk here. It's only used $60 micro trades to lock in these small profits and then return all back into the pool for the profit distribution to be done to all account holders or all contract holders based on what you put in, right? So aside that too, it is not just an ordinary writing or a script running on the site. They provide you with the transaction hash. Now, if I click on this transaction hash, it's supposed to take me straight out of their platform to the blockchain. According to what I read earlier, it said they bought a certain token called TRIA. So let's check and see if genuinely there was a token that was bought and it was called TRIA. So let's see, scrolling down. There you have it on your screen here. So here you have the amount of TRIA bought on Uniswap and then sold. All these transactions are based on the blockchain. That's why I can easily sit here and then confirm, verify, and prove that, oh, genuinely, they actually picked this trade with timestamp and all of this. Now, this is one thing you should know if you are new to blockchain. You see this data here, nobody can falsify it, nobody can twist it, nobody can change anything to favor him or her. What you see here is the actual transactions that has actually happened. And because it is blockchain, that is why I can go in here and confirm all these transactions being done. What does that tell you? If the company says, I am trading for you, genuinely, they are trading for you. They don't rob Peter, allow new deposits to be used to pay old debt. No, there's a genuine business going on here. If I take you back one more step, you realize that as we speak, more and more transactions are being scanned and profit is being locked in for you on daily basis. And based on this, they have several contracts that you can choose based on your strength and your expectation, your risk appetite and all. I'm going to delve into these contracts one after the other using their PDF. I wanted to start with you from the office so you have a feel of what it feels like, what this whole thing is all about. But once I am here, let me quickly mention there are several contracts. The first contract is actually called the Pulsar contract. That's the minimum you can come in is just $100 and it runs for 7 days. Within these 7 days, it is expected that at least you make 0.3 to 0.6% daily. You make 0.3 to 0.6% daily. That contract runs for only 7 days. At the end of the 7 days, your capital returns to you, whatever profit you've made, all comes to your wallet. The beautiful part is that it is not that the bot trades and then keep your money somewhere for you to come and request for withdrawal and be begging the owners, and you are always at the owner's mercy. What it does is that as soon as it is trading for you and dropping the daily or the returns after each trade, which could come in the form of micro trades, you see 0 point something, point this, point that. As soon as it all adds up to make $5, the smart contract has been created in such a way that it recognizes the wallet address you used to create it. Then it returns this money peacefully and quietly into your wallet. In that case, you don't need to request for it. You don't need to beg admin. You don't need to send message to Jerry asking him, please, Jerry, they know you are the top there. So can you push them to, process my withdrawal? Jerry, I need money to take care of school fees, and the admin is hesitant in paying. No, we don't have no such stories here. And at the end of the day, as soon as you make at least $5 and above, this smart contract automatically releases these funds to your wallet. Secondly, we also have the Arbitrum contract, which runs for 30 days, gives you also have minimum to enter. Of course, let me state that on the Pulsar contract, the maximum you can do is just $1,000. You can't do above that. Then on the Arbitrum contract board, you can do at least $100 to $10,000. That runs for 30 days, gives you a daily returns of at least 0.6 to 0.9%. Let me also state that from all this profit being generated for you through this activity, the company shares profit with you. They share profit with you. 20% goes back to the company. Of course, they are in to also make money, and they are also in to reward community builders and team promoters. So they need to have a way of making money. And for me, that is always my thing. Tell me don't rub it in my face and make it look like you are doing me a favor, when in real, the reality is that you are making money off me. So I prefer it when they come clean and they say, I'm going to trade for you. I have the technology. We need so much funds to take advantage of all these arbitrage opportunities that keep coming. But when you use our platform, we charge you 20% of the revenue generated for you by these bots. And that is put into the contract and it is enforced after each trade. Each trade that falls in, 20% is taken and then sent to the reward pool to take care of community rewards and all. One other aspect I'll be going through. And then at the end of your contract, all these, after your daily earnings and all, your capital is released to you within 48 hours. You don't also need to ask for it. Automatically, it comes into your wallet. You don't need to beg anyone because the contract has already been signed. The contract has already been signed. The bot is aware after 30 days, you have chosen 30 days, and then you are supposed to end this, end that, end it. At the end of the day, it comes to you. One very beautiful thing that we have on Loomx too is the fact that if you pick any of these contracts, let's say you pick the 30 days contract, you put in $10,000. After 15 days, maybe something came up, and you need to take part of the money. Once you go through 50% of your journey, which is in this case 15 days out of 30, you can actually request that, okay, I want 50% of the capital I put in, and they're not going to drag it with you. The smart contract will trigger the release of half of that capital back to you. Whatever remains in there goes in to work for you for the remaining 15 days, after which it is returned to you. They don't charge you a penny for redeeming your own money, and all the money is paid and deposited into your wallet. They don't also charge you anything. They bear this transaction cost, and the more reason why the profit split, the 80-20 is always a good idea, so they can be able to finance some of these operational costs while they go on. Then we also have the vortex contract that goes for 90 days. And you realize that the higher, the longer the contract, the better the returns. So we have the 90 days contract that gives you 0.9% to 1.1%. And at the end of the day, you can only do between $100 and then $100,000. Then we also have the Nebula contract that allows you to do up to $1 million, gives you 1.1 to 1.3% daily for 180 days. In all this, your capital always returns to you. And then to me, the best seller, which is the Star Core contract, which has 360 days lifespan. For me, it is always my thing. Why? Because it allows you to earn at least 1.3% to 1.8%. And if you check averagely, even if you restrict yourself to only the 1.3%, after the 80%, 80-20 profit split, you always walk home with at least 1% daily. And ever since I joined, I have never seen anything below this before. If anything at all, it gets better. Of course, I must be also honest. I've also never earned up to 1.8% before. Maybe I've not been watching, but each time I check, I realize that at least by the close of the day, I make my 1% daily, and it continues. Now, if you take a contract like this, I keep telling my people in a private conversation that, look, the reason why I prefer this is the fact that, let's say you are afraid, you are you're risk averse, you are restless because you put money into online program. When you pick the Star Core contract, each day that passes, you know that 1% of your risk is already reduced. So if you start today with 100% risk, by the end of the day, you have 1% of that back to you, which reduces it to 99% risk in the system. And by 90 days, you have already broken even. By 100 days, you have already broken even. You are good to go. Whatever remains for the remaining 260 days is nothing but pure profit. But guess what? At the end of that, your capital still comes back to you. Even if after the 100th day, after the 180th day out of this contract, and you feel like, oh, I think I put in so much, I've been able to get it back. I want to reduce the risk, you can still go ahead and request for half of what you have put in at that moment, despite the fact that you already have it back home in your pocket. So when I analyzed, I thought that this is the language I love to speak. That is what really fits my needs. And of course, my risk appetite may be different from yours. We will all have different ideas or different game plans, but I always encourage people, as we go about this, do your background checks and then take risk responsibly. Be very responsible in your approach. Don't be overzealous. Always make sure, I know you're an adult, you know what to do. And you can also contact a financial advisor in terms of how you should approach this if you are not so sure, because Jerry doesn't really have what it takes to give you such advice. And I'm already a risk taker, so I may end up polluting you with the spirit of risk taking. And this is a program we call Loomx. Guess what? I know what is running through your mind as a new member. You are asking, what about the owners? Are they showing face? Have they hired some paid actors to do the job for them? And that is where I will also shock you. One of the things that also made me go in, of course, although it may not be too important to you, for me it's very important, was the fact that when my leader, I don't know whether he's on this call, Benny Akiki, wanted to start this move, he requested that, are you guys for real? Can I trace you? Can I see their faces? They're like, oh, don't worry. Come over to the office, come and sit down, ask all your questions. He went all the way to Thailand, met the team. And that for me is another statement. If you have a technology like this and you claim you have it, and you are using it to improve lives of people, and you don't intend on any dubious um, motive, you shouldn't be afraid to be bold. Of course, for some reasons, the creator of Bitcoin has to remain unknown to safeguard the whole technology, but not in this modern era. Excuse me. Not in this modern era where you have this technology to bless people. You are a company and you don't want to show face, you want to hire people, and that already tells me a lot about your intentions. Just last week, most of you have seen us. The core leaders of this platform, those above V rank, V3 and above, were also invited for the first global summit. And of course, the owners proudly welcomed them and then gave them a good treat of their life. And that is just the beginning. Why? Because that event actually launched the beginning of Loomx. So you are still very, very, very early into Loomx. You are, in fact, you are at the beginning point of this technology. Do I honestly think it has what it takes to survive the next 100 days for you to at least break even? Oh yeah. And as we speak, before I jump on this call, I took a contract. I keep taking fresh contracts. Of course, don't follow my lead. But all I'm saying is that I still believe in their ability to stay long enough for me to make some money and then take advantage of this technology. So before I go back to the slide and show you how the team and the team structure and all the other things work, I'd like to pause here and come to the screen to see if there are a few questions so far regarding what I've said so far before switching over to the PDF to show you what I have there. So thank you so much for encouraging, for tolerating me. If you have any question at all, please drop those questions in my DM or in the chat. Let me pick it up and handle it. Okay, so somebody said, Jerry, please don't forget to show us your transaction history. Awesome. Okay, that's fair. I think I would like to do that. Go to transaction histories and earning records, and of course, I humbly like to say, in the last 2 months of engaging this, as we speak, this is what I've been able to gain so far. Of course, because I am a builder, I have a lot of community. It is something I'm going to talk about in the next phase. But then, so far, these are how the earnings trickle in. They come in different vibes. Some are community rewards, others are direct referral commission, and others are just my personal trade. So if whatever it is, if you look on your screen carefully, you realize that, look, it tickles in bits. Look at the last transaction, 0.0152, and then the type is community. You look at the other one, also community. I'm looking for something else apart from community. Oh, come on. Okay, fair enough. Let me also take you to some of the contracts. These are some of the contracts I took. And as you can see on the extreme left of the screen, you see the star core. Of course, that has always been my go-to. You watch the middle transaction showing $400 I took how many days ago? I took this on the 7th of December last year. And so far as we speak, I've received about 62.2% of that. Of course, you realize that I'm almost halfway through. Even this, I have about 63%. I'm almost halfway through breaking even here. And so all these things are real, bro. I wish I would trade. I would trend on the same line with you and look for something fake about their transactions, about their earning claims and all. At the end of the day, you wake up every morning and you keep smiling. And you open your wallet as soon as it's up to, oh, there you go. As soon as it's up to $5, the smart contract sends it to you, $5, $6 and more. If due to network congestion and the funds are taking a while, it combines all and releases it to you. And this is how it comes in 5555555. And this is the reason why we even chose the passcode to this meeting 555, because once it is 5, it drops in. You don't need to request for it. If I even take you back to the office, you realize that there's a fund growing there in my available balance, which is getting ready to be released. I hope it hasn't filled up yet. Revenue records. There you go. Okay, here the unsent balance of $6.5 will soon be released to hit my wallet as we speak. So if I should go back and refresh, you realize that this $6 will soon be released to hit my wallet, and that is the most beautiful part of what we have here. So coming back to Zoom to see if there are questions for me. Please talk about the reinvestment. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Before I go back to the slide, I would like to talk about the new thing that has been introduced recently, which is the reinvestment. Of course, if you see this last transaction I did, this is a contract I took, that's like $1,500. You see below the auto reinvest. And then there's a new thing that is popping up lately, which is the payout profit. You realize that currently, as we speak, I turn this thing off, meaning that I expect the system to pay me out profit, assuming that I don't want to receive my profit, but I want this profit to be reinvested or added back to my capital to go back to work and still keep bringing me maybe the 1% daily. I simply have to turn this thing on. Once you touch it, it will ask you, are you sure you want to enable reinvest profit? Once you hit confirm, automatically it turns on your auto reinvest. So what it means is that the total profit from this particular contract, which is the 1,500 contract, instead of it coming to my wallet, it will go back and add up to the capital. So the capital will be accumulating, and that gives you the room to take advantage of the eighth wonder of the world, what we call the compound interest. In fact, it is a very, very powerful tool. But then I still implore you to tread cautiously. You have your plans. Make sure you know what you are doing. And of course, if you want those $555 to take care of the daily needs, it is allowed. If you are the long term, you have the appetite for the long term, you are allowed to do. And at the end of the day, you see that when the contract ends, all the accumulated funds that add up to the capital will come back to your wallet. Now, let me show you the beauty of what that means. Assuming at the end of the day, I expect to make about, let's say, $15. If the $15 comes to my wallet today, I may probably leave it there or wait for the rest to add up. And if I don't want to take it, and I decide that take it back and add it back to the capital, my capital will now be reading as 1515. And definitely 1% of 1515 is not the same as 1% of 1500. Definitely you see some gains. And over a period of time, you realize that your daily returns, although your initial capital is 1500, you realize that you're no longer earning 15. It will get to a stage where you'll be earning maybe 20 per day, 20, 30 per day, 40 per day, though your initial capital still remains 1500. And that is the beauty of what we call the smart, compounding effect, or what we call compound interest. So coming back to the screens again, Jerry, please don't forget to show us the mixing agent transactions under the exchange to help us. Actually, I talked about that. It was the first thing I talked about. Maybe in the subsequent transaction next week, I'd like to go more techie. Today, the aim is to introduce you to the surface. Next week, we'll do more practicals where I'll do live transactions on the call, transfer maybe something to a random winner, somebody from the crowd. I'll just pick wallet at random and then do a giveaway. Do a giveaway from my back end to this user. And I believe that at the end of the day, we'll all experience the powerful nature of what we have here in a form of Loomx. But the truth is that whatever they claim they are doing is real. The mixing engine is live. You can transact with it now and commission now. And the good part is that even the 0.5 they are charging, they still share profit with you. Based on your community level ranking, they still share profit with you. So on that note, thank you. On that note, I'd like to pause here again, go back to my screen, and then show you the team bonus and show you what it takes to build a community, how you can leverage on it, what are the rules involved, things you should avoid, things you should pay attention to, and how you can leverage entirely on your friends and your community to make the most out of this opportunity we have here. So thank you so much for, again, tolerating me. I want to stop sharing the screens for now, go back, set up my my PDF, and then come back to you in a minute. Please bear with me. Just a minute as I do so. Okay, so I have my PDF ready, and I'm going back to share my screens again. Let's talk about the community reward and how you can take advantage of it. Thank you so much. We are about 60, 70 people on this call. I really appreciate you. Each time you turn up in your numbers, I feel like doing something crazy, but I hope not tonight. So I'm going to share my screens again, and we have here the PDF. I just spoke about these contracts, the various contracts that we have, from the pulsar all the way through, here. I just spoke about the various contracts that we have and explain what it takes. Of course, I forgot to mention that apart from the 7 days contract, which doesn't support what we call the flexible redemption, redeeming halfway through your journey, all other contracts contains or permits you to do or support the flexible redemption. Now let's go back to a very, very important aspect of what we do. And this area is for team builders. Guys, don't get me wrong. You are not required to bring in somebody. You are not forced to recruit to earn. It is perfectly okay if you don't have a team, you don't have a community, you don't want to talk about this, you just want to be in your solo lane and be enjoying your 1%, 2% daily and all. That's fair. But then if you want to be very smart, I love people who like to build businesses upon business. This is a whole business going on here, and you have the permission to also build a business that will allow you to receive extra earnings. And what we have here, of course, is what we call the community reward. But even before we come to community reward, I would like to talk about one more thing. I think is ahead, which has to do with the direct referrals. Okay, let me talk about community rewards first. What it simply means is that now you've come to Loomx, you've tried their technology, it works for you, it makes money for you, and when the stuff is good and real, sometimes you have no choice than to mention it to your friend if that person is actually your friend. If you've chanced on anything good, the first thing you wanted to do is to call a friend. I've not seen anybody receiving a good news. Let's say you've been praying all your life to travel to maybe Nigeria. You're a Ghanaian. You have all your life. Your dream is to travel to Nigeria, and each time you try, they refuse you visa. And then one day they call you from the embassy and say, "Hey, Jerry, you've tried all your life to come to Nigeria. Congratulations, we've given you this visa." I don't see anyone upon hearing that good news who will call his enemy. Nobody does that. You want to call your friend and break the big news with him or her, because you feel this news is going to make him happy. It's the same mentality we do in this business or in this space. When the stuff is good and it's working, you want to mention it to a friend. You know a friend who needs some side gig, some side hustle, something to be generating something, depending on how you look at it. It may be your side hustle. For me, it's my full-time hustle. And the community is saying that once you begin doing that, congratulations, you have just opened your own business on top of their technology. And whatever revenue that is generated through what you have done, we share with you. But what are the requirements? Before you start receiving anything at all, first of all, the rule requires that you should also be a participant of the platform. Don't just be an agent who don't even know your product. Like those guys who go around selling a lot of food stuff. You ask them, and have you tried this before? They will tell you yes, and it tastes so nice. You buy it, you take it home, and you realize it tastes so bitter. So you should be products of the you should be part of the system too. All you need to do is, we have various ranks from V1 all the way to V8. And each rank you hit comes with an added bonus of revenue for you. So how do you become V rank? The system requires that at least you should have a personal contract of at least $100. Have personal contract of at least $100. And at least in your small area. Let me explain what this means, because in most of the questions I keep getting daily has to do with the confusion around the legs that qualifies you. The system is good. You are sharing it with friends. Let's say you invited 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 friends. Then out of these 6 friends, one friend decided that, oh, okay, this is good. And instantly he put in, let's say, 10,000. He didn't also stop there. He also told a friend who comes in and also put in, 10,000. Now, your other 5 friends decide that, okay, we really want to take our time. So they put in $1,000 each. Now, naturally, this guy who put in 10,000 is justified to be called your strong leg, because he has produced more volume than all the other friends. The company is saying the strong leg out of the many that you have, it could be 100, it could be 200. The strongest of all, the one that has the highest volume, is tagged as your strong leg. Then the remaining 99, if it is 100, all the volume that comes from them they are grouped together to form your small area or your weak leg. And the company is saying gather at least 20,000 in your weak leg, and that will take you straight to V1. That takes you straight to V1. Now, when you get to V1, what benefit do you start to gain? First of all, when if any member of your team decide to engage the crypto mixing service, the fee that is charged, 10% of that fee comes to you. For the fact that you are V1, 10% of the fee generated from for they using this technology is sent to you as your reward. Secondly, when the bot, they also invest into the bot, whatever profit they make, the entire team, your entire leg, whatever they do, 10% of that is paid to you in a form of community reward. And this is where it gets crazy. I keep telling my team leaders, if you are building a team and you are not yet on V1, that it explains why you have not really moved, because your introduction to V1 will open your eyes to something you wouldn't want to let go of. So make it a point that at least I need to get to V1 to experience what is there. Then at the end of the day, if any of your downlines also grow up to meet you on V1, the company says, oh, well done. You were not selfish. You also trained another leader to grow up to become like you. And so since he is the one earning 10% of his entire team, all his earnings for the day, you also have the right to earn 10% of it. How cool is that? Then it comes to V2. What is required for you to get to V2? You need a personal volume of at least $500. And then this 20K that was generated on your weak legs, as soon as they keep building, and gradually they get to 50K, automatically that pushes you to V2. And even in V2, it even sounds better, because instead of earning 10% of your entire team and there's no cutoff, this is different from the direct referral commission, which we'll be talking about in the next minute. This is just an added bonus for the fact that you have a community that takes you to V rank, and this is V rank or community earnings. You earn 20% of your entire team. Now, somebody will be taking calculator to start calculating and say, how do they do this? If you are earning, if 10% on this V1 and then 20% on V2, 30% on V3, it's already more than 100%, and that is where you got it wrong. What it simply means is that, assuming I sign up A, B, C, and then A comes, I manage to train A to come to V1. The company is saying that if I happen to be the only V1 in my team, that is where I get a chance to earn the 10%, or 10% is allocated to only V1 on each legs. So if I am V1 and my downline also grows to V1, I don't earn that 10% on his team again. However, I only earn 10% of his earnings on his team. This is different. Let me explain. Assuming A's downline, at the end of the day, they all earn $10,000. And A happens to be the upline who happens to be at V1 in that group. 10% of their total earnings comes to A. A is under me. I'm also on V1. And it is only 10% that is allocated to V1. So since he is the freshest V1 under me, he takes it. However, when he takes that 10% of that 10,000, which is $1,000, I will earn only $100 from him. That is different from me earning 10% of his team, because that would have also amounted to $1,000, and which would mean that this whole plan is not sustainable. So what it means is that it is only 10% that is available. If you're on top in your structure, you take it. When your next leader comes to that rank, he takes it. But once you also rank up, then you are open to 20%. And the 20% simply means that it is only 20% that has been set aside for level 1, V1, and V2. And since A is already enjoying the 10%, the difference of 10 and 20 is 10%. So you will enjoy that 10% extra. And that is where the whole confusion came in. All the criticism that came with this plan came from people who said, how can you pay 80%, 70% of the same earnings and still expect to sustain it? What they don't know is that it is the difference between the two that goes to the upline on top. So when your downlines rank up to V1, start moving to V2. Always be one step ahead of them. Of course, that's a very healthy and not envious, competition. You encourage them to earn. Of course, you also earn 10% of them. Assuming the highest rank person, who happens to be my upline, David. David walks home with, let's say, 16K, at least 16K a day. I'm sure by now he's edging close to 20K a day. And I happen to be his upline. And I'm also on V6. So if David makes 20K a day, I sit up there, also make 10% of his 20K. I think it's still fair and cool. So I shouldn't be angry when he's growing. Rather, I should rather encourage him while I encourage other weaker legs to look up to him and be like him. So it goes on and on and on all the way to V8. And then, of course, in V3, you need personal 1,000. And then a cumulative team on your weaker leg being 150K. That takes you to V3. 500K on V4. But another thing I need to open your eyes to is the fact that when the system say you need 20K on your weak leg, if you do the math rightly, you realize that the system is saying at least you need 40K volume to get to V1. It doesn't mean that immediately one person brings in 20K, you are on V1. No. It's only telling you that your weaker leg should produce 20K, which means that the stronger leg should have more than 20. If I am your weaker and I have 20, it means that the stronger has more. So literally it's telling you you need total team volume of at least 40K in order to make it. And then when it comes to the 50K, it's just telling you that you need a total team volume of course, and these figures may sound so huge to you, only to realize that even one person comes in and pushes in 100K, 200K, 300K, 400K, 500K. One person comes to your team and makes the difference. And that's why you can't stop marketing this opportunity to friends. Of course, while you market, I always ask my leaders to be very honest, to be very transparent in their approach. Don't exaggerate things, don't lie, say it as it is. And then the right people will fall in. They make their money. You also make your money as well. And as we speak, the highest ranked person, who is David, is currently on V6. We do not have any V7 or V8 yet. And I'm sure he will still be the first guy to hit there, while my immediate upline, Benny Akiki, will be standing by him, rubbing shoulders, and I will quietly be at their back. And I'll also rub shoulders with them, saying that, hey guys, here we are. And already the story is unbelievable. Guys, pause a minute, ask yourself, making 20K every single day. 20K every single day. And I beg you, I'm not saying 20,000 Ghana cedis or maybe the Nigerian Naira. Now $20,000 matter they talk. 20K every day. Imagine. So if somebody can achieve it, you can also achieve it. All you need to do is to draw a plan, be consistent, invite your friends. Even if you cannot talk to them, invite them here. Let's show them the truth about this program. Let them take their decisions. Let them move. You don't know when you meet somebody you see as cannot move, and then they see the vision in this project and decide to go all out, and they become your strong leg. Don't underestimate anybody. Go all out there, involve anybody, your landlord, your friend, even your enemy. Sometimes the reason why you create enemies is that they feel you have sources, you have sources to things they don't have. Envy comes in, they become your enemy. Sometimes you open the door and say, come. This is where I'm eating from. Since you are my enemy, come and eat too. And as Christians, we're supposed to work so hard to turn our enemies to friends. And so you can also use this opportunity to turn those enemies to friends and make a powerful team. Go all out there. There's so much money, so much liquidity sitting right there for everybody to take. And I keep telling the people, this is like an open check. Sign how much you want to take. They gave you the check. How much do you want to take from it? Go ahead. You need $1 million. Go and work at it. Get it. Oh, maybe $50 is okay for you. Work like if you need $50 and the maths don't lie. 1 + 1 will always be 2. You get your $50. But if you're like me, when even the 20K that David is making daily is not enough, then we will join forces together in fetching so much from this sport, because this is just the beginning. There's an upcoming program in Dubai in May, starting in May, and that is targeting to gather over 1,000 participants. I would like to see students of this corps rising up to the occasion and taking charge. I would like to jump on that program and say, look, these are my leaders who are crushing it from all angles. But remember, it's just a healthy competition. Poverty is the actual enemy. We all have bills to pay, and you definitely want to take advantage of the fact that crypto is here to make millionaires. Even if you do not believe in what people say, you listen to the voices of these prophets lately. They tell you they see this shift. They see this money shift. Money is shifting hands from the somebodies of today to nobodies of, and when they want to learn, they tell you they see the crypto industry brewing millionaires and billionaires. And it doesn't necessarily mean you buying a coin and becoming a billionaire overnight. It also means you taking advantage of opportunities like this to build a business that will reward you while you sleep, that will reward you while you dream. You wake up in the morning and all your stress will vanish. Sometimes most of the reason why you frown is the fact that when you count the number of bills that line up, that you don't even know how you're going to solve it, already your day is spot. But if you wake up and you check, okay, how much bill do I have today? Maybe $250. Let me look at my Loomx. Oh, there's $6,000. Will you frown? Will somebody greet you good morning and you get angry? So this is the opportunity I want you to key in. You know what I want you to do right now? If you haven't joined yet, reach out to whoever referred you to this call. First of all, say thank you. For what? For what you're about to achieve. Say thank you in advance. Because once you key in and you move with a plan, even if you are on solo mode, at least you should come out of this project with a lot of testimonies that, I joined it right from the beginning. Don't wait and drag your feet to the end, the extreme end, before you say, my property, let me just go and sell it and put it now. Don't do that. You have the opportunity to be the front runner. Take it, run with it, build with it. And trust me, this whole industry is very rewarding if you take it very serious. So on that note, I'd like to pause here, come back to the Zoom and take few questions. We are doing this again next week, and next week will even be more crazy because I'll be doing a lot of giveaway. In fact, I'll be using the crypto mixing service. So randomly, people will be dropping wallets. I'll pick those wallets and do some transactions for everybody to see how real the technology is. A lot of giveaways. So tell your friends to join. Who knows? Your downline could win the giveaway. Maybe some $1,000 will change somebody's life. $500 could change somebody's life, can change somebody's story. $100, 20, 40. You can't tell. So keep this link, share it with your friends, and then let's keep doing this. There's so much more to learn about Loomx, and the journey has just started. On that note, thank you so much for being around. Coming back to Zoom to answer a few questions that you may have. And I hope you really enjoyed your stay with me. So coming back to the chat. Okay, I have Frankie Baby who wants to ask a question. Good evening, Frankie. Please, if I may have your question, please unmute your mic and let's have your question.
Yeah, thank you, Jerry, for your analysis. I just wanted to see a scenario of a person coming in with 3K for 90 days, what the compounding will be, reinvesting profits and auto reinvestment, no withdrawal. The person wants to know because that's what the person wants to do.
Okay.
So can you show a scenario of that with Starco contract?
Thank you. Definitely, yes. I can share a scenario, and I'll take you live online where we look at compound interest calculator. So what we will do is that, let me share my screen again. Let's do this analysis together and see how it will turn out to be in 90 days. Okay. Now on your screen is a compound interest calculator, but this one I'm going to use daily compound. And so let's say somebody comes in with 3K. Okay, sorry. Let's say somebody comes in with 3K, and then the daily returns on then is it a 90 days contract?
Like 100 and 365. Let's just do 365.
Okay, so 365 gives an average rate of 1% daily.
Okay.
So we're going to change it to okay, it should be daily compounding. Yeah. Okay, 3K gives 1% daily for 360 days. We're not going to make any additions, and
No.
that amounts to at least $107,000. That's $3,000. And if per adventure you start today, if you start today, it's supposed to end on the 4th of February 2027. Assuming you just decide to leave it there, let it compound on its own for throughout the 360 days, that grows up to $107,000.
How sustainable is
Awesome.
this calculator
Now,
at 3,495% growth?
okay. So don't forget, all the returns being given by Loomx comes from trading activity, comes from profits generated from trade. And even as we speak on this call, if you go back to your back end, you see the bot is scanning around, taking profits from all angles, from everybody. And as long as crypto trade will exist, arbitrage opportunities will keep existing, and their bot still doing what it does, it shouldn't be a problem for them. Because we are talking about 1% daily compounded, not redeemed, nothing taken out of it for 360 days. This is what the calculator says.
That's what the calculator says, no doubt, but I'm just wondering how this is going to be sustained. Anyway, you had a lot.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Well, if the Loomx is paying out even the 111% daily, paying it back to people's wallets without sweat and still keeping a very healthy pool. In fact, one of the things we're going to look at next week is their various pools, how much is contained in there. We're going to take all the pools to see how much do we have in there, even their hot wallets. So there are several smart contracts doing several things in this whole setup.
And this is taking me to, I don't want to cut you short. This is taking me to the percentage of what you say is invested. We'll have 55 million in the portfolio, and you take like $60 to stake. So this 1%, is it out of your $60 stake or your invested amount?
Okay, so if you watch the transactions at your back end, you realize that these percentages they tickle in micro percentages, 0.000 something percent, 0.000 something percent, because of the amount being committed to trade. And of course, I must say that there are instances where the bot commits bigger. There are so many things that comes to play when you want to trade liquidity, when you want to trade arbitrage. The pool you are engaging, do they have enough money to take all the transactions? All these smart decisions must be analyzed and taken by the bot, by the AI. It needs to check, okay, let's say I want to trade this coin. I've seen an arbitrage opportunity. I can buy from maybe Pancake Swap and then sell it on Sushi Swap to make some profit. But before I engage these two swaps, let me check, do they have enough liquidity to support the trade? If not, how much do I think they can support at that point? The bot analyzes this and commits what it feels if it is more decent, and to also stay under the radar to generate the profit. Right? So at the end of the day, all these micro trades, what it simply means is that the $55 million that is sitting there, at the end of the day, they manage to generate at least 1% on it. And by default, all the participants in that pool earn their share, which is supposed to be
Okay.
1% of whatever.
Okay.
And for
Now
me, as
understood.
a trader, yes, for me as a trader, like early this morning, I have a Forex account. I think I had just about $1,002 in there. I pick a trade and I made like $280. And that trade lasted for like just an hour on Forex. And so if what didn't strike me is the fact that I didn't check the percentages to my capital. And that is something that even if somebody say, I can give you that in a month, most people will ask you, is this sustainable? Meanwhile, in one trade, I managed
Jerry, you something else. Okay.
to. Yes.
Yeah,
So,
because the person that if you're inviting people, they want to
yes.
hear, they want to follow
Yeah.
the scenario, they want to put that
Yeah.
money in there,
I
they are
think it's a
trusting the
very,
process, then they want to see in
mm,
360 days if this money will actually amount to this.
exactly. But you know what?
Because you,
You know what? You know what I would do personally? I'm on public Zoom, but I don't mind saying this. So when I go into platforms like this, what I focus more, first of all, is whatever I took from my pocket to put in, how do I break even? For me, it has been the code that I work with. Before I think about taking further risk, I want that risk to come from my excess profit from the system. I will not take
yes,
$3,000 from my pocket and put it in a program and leave it for 1 year. I can't sleep.
yes. So what's your
So
recommendation? Take it off
all my
after 90
followers,
days?
I keep, yes, all my followers, I keep telling them this. Look, even if I take the 90 days contract, I can, okay, 90 days, well, that's just 3 months. I can afford to take 90 days contract and compound it to the end of the 90 days.
Okay,
When the 90 days is complete, I'll first of all take out my capital, keep it there. Not that I do not trust the platform, but it is my trading habit. Protect
absolutely.
what you put. That is your bloodline. You have to protect it with everything. Then afterwards, I can take on, even if you want to do 10 years now, I can't stop you. You know why? Sometimes me saying no to you means that I could end up. Does Loomx, now the big question is, does Loomx have what it takes to run for the next 1 year? My honest answer is I believe so. So sometimes I would tell you, no, don't take it. And then 1 year comes, then you look back at me and say, Jerry, now you cost me this now. Now you say I should not do them. So sometimes you just, your risk appetite, you know what works for you. You plan according to it. And for me, this is what works for me. I don't impose it on people, but I share so that people can also factor that into their plans.
That's so true. Thank you so much, Jerry.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much. All right. So I see the messages beeping. Um, 20K daily, I'll buy planets of oh my goodness, yes, I'm with you. People are dreaming to go to the moon. We will invent our own planet and go there. And that is something somebody is making. And David, with all due respect, is just a normal human guy like you and I. A normal human guy like you and I. If you can do it, I believe you can do it too. Jerry is on his way there. Oh, you see that cake there? I must eat. And that's why I want you to connect your energy with me. Let's go all out and make some. There's so much to make. I have come to understand that their whole ecosystem is not based on false promises. It is based on real results. And I believe that with time, the results may even get better. And now that we have it as hot as it is, let me also eat now. Am I not God's son again? Okay. All right. So let me see. Thank you, Jerry, for okay. Thank you too. Please, when it comes to Web3 risk management is very important. Before you start compounding, always take out your prop. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. For me, that is what I mostly do, and I tell my people do same. Not that I do not believe in the project. I do. I believe in blockchain. I believe in longevity before I even put my money. But in all cases, always apply the risk management skill. If you don't do that, you cannot trade forex. And I am a forex trader, so naturally I'm trained to see things in the way I've seen it. So I think are you enjoying the conversation, guys? Let me know. Are you enjoying? So this is my style. Forgive me if it is your first time with me. I like to be very raw, very honest with my followers to know the way I think. And then, of course, I'm not enforcing it on anyone. I just like to have such conversations so we all know we are on the same mission. I want you to win, and I want me to also win. And it's better I tell you the truth the way it is, so we can all form a team with the same spirit, the same mindset, and conquer this. Guys, believe me, there's so much money to be made on Loomx. The journey has just started. The houses that will be given in Dubai, I would like to see you taking one. David, aside all the money he's making, he went to the Thailand event and he was giving what? BMW. Come on, guys. $80,000 worth of, not that David cannot afford 80,000. After all, he just needs 4 days earnings to buy that car. But the company says we actually appreciate the effort you are putting in, but then we still want to add something. And that was just the tip of the iceberg. And just today I received my gold bar. I received my gold bar. Okay.
If you don't know what's happening, now is the time to maybe mute for a few minutes.
Okay, I think I have a company. I'd like to mute. Okay, who else? Thank you. So just today, I got a video from David and Benny, together with Crypto Queen. They sent me a video saying, Jerry, this is your gold bar. I'm sending it to you as a token of the appreciation of the work you are doing. I also want to dream of the day where I also send out gold bars to my friends for the work they are doing. So please, let's connect that energy and go all out. But in all this, safety, risk management, truth, always tell your people the truth. For me, I will tell you the truth. Tomorrow, if you call me at night, I will still stand by the truth that I told you, go by this, go by that, go by this. And I believe in all that. It has always worked for me. I've always won. One of those days, one team may go off, but definitely most of our people do come out clean, at least breaking even and taking some profit. So if you really enjoyed this Zoom tonight, please make a date with me again on Monday. Tell your friends to tell their friends that on Monday, this is not an official Zoom. We do it as a team Zoom. We connect with our people. And please, if you're not connected to me on YouTube, you may want to have, you want recorded version of this conversation, please check it out. We are live on YouTube as we speak. Go all out there. Let me drop the link to my channel. If you're not subscribed, come on now, help a brother now. You don't want brother to also make something small from YouTube. Come on now. Help me, let's spread the message. Let's create visibility. Let people see the channel and know how we run it in our community. You know that what I mean? And of course, help your brother to be known. Help your brother to be known. And don't mind me, this is Jerry in his raw element. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time with me here. Please, if you're not on any of our social groups, make sure you get in there. Let's keep it live. Let's keep it active. Let's keep it positive. Always stay away from negative energy. Don't let anybody tell you it cannot be done. A lot of people have sold those lies to us. Oh, but you are coming from Africa. It can't be done. Oh, I'm a very humble African, but I'm also very proud of where I'm coming from, because I believe the tougher it is, the more you are trained to learn to do more things. And so it could be in your region, people looking down at you and say, you can't make it. Shake it off and come out of your shelves. Shake yourself and let the world see what is deposited in you. And I believe the same God that created any other person is the same God that created you. You have so much in you. You have so much in you. Let the world see you shine. Don't be intimidated. Don't don't be arrogant, but be proud of where you are coming from. Be proud of what's in you. Explore it.
Yes, brother Jerry, absolutely. Listen, we're gonna regroup and go to Jamaica with this one, right? Real.
Okay, since Jerry is having an issue with his network, I don't know if anybody can hear me.
I'm sorry.
Jamal, can you hear me? Team Jamal, can you hear me? Jamal, can you hear me?
I'm
Can
sorry.
anybody
I'm
hear
sorry.
me?
I'm back. Please. Yes, I can hear you, Boss Danny. Thank you so much. I just dropped the link
No.
to tonight's presentation on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel. Let's keep it positive. Let's keep the vibe on. See you again next week. And Derek, I don't know if you have anything to say, Boss Danny. Thank you so much for holding the fort. Derek, if anything to add, please. Yes. Okay, Boss Danny, please, if you have last words to add, please go ahead.
Okay, no problem. You can hear me, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, good. Good evening to the team. I believe you are all doing well from our various locations. So what I just want to say is that we know that a lot of things has changed and the world is changing progressively even as we grind forward. And even ways of making money and all that, you can actually sit at home while your money works for you in the blockchain, just like what we have here. You get so it's also time for you to put your money to work. It's just like I always tell people that you cannot be wealthy if you don't invest. You must invest before so that your money must work for you before you can be able to be wealthy to a certain level. Now for the team here, just like Jerry also stated, we are transparent. We don't hype. We say things the way it is, just like what we have here. We are showing you based on what we have here, not based on any hype or whatsoever from any corner. You get so it is also left for you to also make your decision on how to move. And when you move, first of all, capital security is very, very important as we grind. But I also know that I believe that even moving forward, we're also going to make more money. You get. Thank you so much, and let's move. Let's move. We don't have. There is no time. You said that okay, just like you you say you do it tomorrow. Tomorrow you say you do it the other day. Just money for yourself. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care.
Thank you so much, guys. See you next week. Let's keep it positive. I love you.